Hello, everyone, and welcome in once again. It's time for the Columbus River Dragons Coaches Show, and we are happy to have you here. We're going behind the bench, as we always do, with River Dragons head coach Jerome Bechard, and this week's player guest is Jay Croop. And so we'll bring Boomer in to chat a little bit with us here first. We'll get Jay and some special guests on here in just a moment. But Boom, how you doing this week?
Pretty good. How are you?
I can't complain, man. Nobody listens.
Had a nice, relaxing week. Last week, not a whole lot going on. Nice weekend. Chilled out.
My goodness, you had time away from the rink. What did you do with yourself?
Actually, you know what? My wife and well, I was at the rink for a little bit, but on Saturday, my wife and I and some friends went up to LaGrange, went to a little winery up there.
Oh.
Had a little lunch, get away from town, and yeah, it was nice.
I did not even know they made wine
in the South. There's like 2 or 3 wineries up
really?
In LaGrange. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I remember when I first found out they had some in and around Nashville. I was shocked, to find that out, and then there's some in Illinois. Like, okay, so me being from New York, we'll go off on this tangent for a minute because we got an hour. That the Finger Lakes is a big wine producing region, and a lot of people know Finger Lakes wine. And Boomer shaking his head, doesn't know Finger Lakes wine.
Never heard of it.
So the Finger Lakes region in New York is kind of a big deal when it comes to wine production.
Right.
I was kind of surprised to find that there are other climates that you wouldn't necessarily think would support a vineyard that I guess people have figured out how to grow the grapes and make it happen. So,
yeah, I mean,
you don't think of hot weather when you think of a vineyard.
Yeah, no, you don't. But I mean, at the same time, different grapes, different, different flavors.
All the wine people out there will know terroir. Which is the term for the earth, the mix of the soil, the climate, all that, where the grapes are grown.
Right. Yeah. I'm not that technical or.
You just know if you like it or not.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. That works for me. So that's interesting though. That's pretty cool. I did not know there were wineries in the area. So there you go. But so you got to a winery a little bit.
Yeah. Got home, watched a little bit of hockey, watched some stuff on YouTube, and watched some of the other teams go, and just see what was going on out there.
When you have that set up, are you paying more attention to our league? Are you watching NHL? Is there a mix? Whatever's good.
A little bit of everything. I mean, our league, kind of catch up, see what's going on, especially if we're depending on if we're playing somebody next or whatever. I would kind of keep an eye on watching them or whatever. And really, with our league, it's really nice. YouTube, you can go watch.
Yeah.
You can go watch it anytime. So it's kind of nice that way, but. I follow the SPHL, follow the East Coast League. I got a little bit of everything, so yeah.
Wow.
I don't pay a lot of attention to it,
right?
But I mean, if I'm on the computer and I see something there, I'll flick on and see what's going on.
Well, the other thing too, I imagine, and I don't know this because I don't have the SPHL, buy it and watch thing, but the games have to be archived, right? I mean, obviously our stuff is archived on YouTube,
right? And you know what? I'm not 100% sure. I haven't been on. Like those guys just changed their format to flow hockey.
Okay.
And come to find out, the SP's on it, the East Coast League's on it, and this and that. I mean, I paid one fee, and I'm getting SP, East Coast League, college. There's a lot on there type thing. So it's tax deductible. I can write that.
There you go. Yeah.
I can write that.
For you especially.
I can write that $180 off.
That's right. There you are scouting, you are recruiting, you are yeah. There's a lot of uses for that. So, so the wife didn't immediately throw a honey-do list at you.
Oh no, we did yard work before that.
Oh, okay, all right.
yeah. No, there's always yard work to do on the weekends, Saturday, Sunday. Doesn't matter when you get home. Yeah, it's always
sure.
Cut the grass, pick up leaves, whatever. So
it is relentless.
But I do have a really nice lawnmower, and I can pick up leaves in 20 minutes.
Yeah. Well, and I think you and I had this conversation. Correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't you in the process of, or you did downsize after the girls left, or no?
Yeah. I mean, no. I mean, we got a nice, comfortable size.
Okay.
Nothing. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,100 square foot. Nice.
So not anything too big, too unruly.
Enough for the girls to come back and visit. And,
okay.
And if we got family or friends coming, yeah, perfect size.
All right, there you go. for all your real estate needs.
There you go. There you go.
That's the other thing. You're selling houses on the side here. I mean, you got so much going on. Not even on the side, like in front.
Like, I mean, it's weird. It's really a weird market. Like, I mean, busy as I need to be, which is kind of nice, especially with hockey kind of coming around this now. But it's like a flea market. It's a flea market. If you got something that's really nice, gone. So you go to the flea market, somebody brings something new or whatever, it's gone. But then if you're at the flea market and you keep going, there's stuff that just lingers there, and it's always going to be there. If you got just an average, it's just kind of sitting there on the, some of this average stuff just stays on the market a little bit longer.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I have my place in Arizona still. I came here from Tucson, and part of me wants to sell it. Part of me does not want to sell it. Doesn't know yet. What do you?
It's kind of good.
It's a catch-22.
I mean, it all depends on what your plans are. I mean, at the end of the day, biggest thing in the country still is there's not a whole lot of inventory on the market.
Right.
So, prices are kind of staying a little higher, or staying at that high or at that high threshold kind of thing. So you're getting what you want for it. But then on the other hand, in your case, it's not like you need to buy another place as soon as you sell it.
True.
Right?
True.
So the other part of it is, because there's not a whole lot on the market, then when you do sell it, you might not find what you want. And then, of course, interest rates are the nemesis. And
oh, my goodness.
I mean, pretty volatile. Sometimes they're up. Sometimes they come down. I think they come a couple times. I think they came down a little bit this week. But you're still over what everyone's used to paying,
Yeah, I'm definitely not getting the 3 or 3.5.
Yeah, no, you're looking
that's
more.
Not there.
You're looking more at, you may, depending on your credit and what's going on, you may find a 6, 6.5. But right now it's 7. I saw an 8 the other day. I think last week. So, but you know what? I think at some point it's going to come back down. Probably not down to what it was, like 2.5 and 3s. But probably a 4.5, 5, and that's kind of realistic.
The crazy part is, and boom, you'll remember the 80s. I remember the 80s.
Yeah. My parents had a 7.
13 and 14%.
Yeah.
Which is insane if you think about it on a mortgage. But people were still buying houses in the 80s.
Yep.
So this real estate class brought to you by no. Like I say, we got an hour. Sometimes we'll get off on a little bit of a tangent, but we do talk hockey, I promise. So it's the River Dragons Behind the Bench Coaches Show. Jerome Bechard here with us, and talking about the fact that the team had a week off. There were no games this weekend for the River Dragons, so it did give you a chance to look at some of the other teams and what's going on around the league. But other than that, I mean, how do you treat that with the team? Because you literally have only played 3 games.
Yeah, you know what? I would have liked to have the break a little bit later on in the season. February, March. Get some guys to be, when they need a rest or something like that. But and then really, it's kind of I don't like this time of the year because there's, a lot of influx as far as player movements from all levels of hockey. So there's always guys getting released from East Coast League SPHL teams, and do we need to make a change? I'm like, and one, you play 3 games, you're off the next week, and you don't know. Like, I mean, well, I haven't even seen a couple guys, so I can't really tell you if what I have is good enough, and if there's another guy in the SPHL that played maybe a D3 or similar to what I already have. I'm like, well, I really need to give our guys a good look before I, turn the page on them and bring somebody else in type thing. So that's what I didn't like about last weekend is, extend that a little bit.
It's so I'm going to, again, take this careening down an alley to the side here, but and I'm going to do it by talking about the NHL right now. What we see is some teams, and the Sharks are a very easy example, but the Edmonton Oilers are another one right now, get off to terrible, abysmal starts. All of a sudden, boom, everybody starts looking to tear things down. So I know it's different at this level, obviously. Yeah. There's far less of a structure in place in the system and draft picks and all that, but it happens.
It's similar. It's the same, but it's not. Like, I mean, obviously, NHL, you got guys that are on 3, 4, 5-year contracts, blah blah blah. I mean, I can get rid of anybody at any time, right? So,
right.
But I'm like, what's out there now? If you don't have a good hard nucleus of what you need right off the bat, it's going to take you a little bit of time to, you know, sift through those players, and especially if you're missing a number one guy, number one forward, or number one defenseman, or something like that. If you don't got it, it's tough to find at any level.
Sure.
You know, type thing. So, you know, so you got to do your job, do your homework, and you know, and even at this level too, you know, try to keep an eye of who's going where up above, so you have an idea of who that player is and what's going on, and you have somewhat of an idea of, you know, will he fit into what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, that's and that's tough to do this time of year. And Jay Croop is here with us. And Jay, I know that, you know, you're involved not only with from a player side, obviously, but also, you know, with the recruiting and everything like that. How much of what goes into that is built in the summer?
I feel a lot for us. We do things, I mean, I guess a little bit different. We try to build our team in the off season and go with guys that want to be here. And, you know, I mean, there are guys that want to move up, but I think it's a lot of guys that want to develop and kind of are aware they're not ready for whether it's the SPHL or the ECHL. And so they're kind of committed to coming here, working hard. And you know, a lot of these guys know playing for Jerome. I mean, he's been in the SP for a long time. What, you know, 15 years, or maybe more. But I think, you know, they're aware of that. So if anyone can really get them a chance there, it's going to be him. And, you know, so for us, I feel it's a little bit different because we're kind of building for the year and going with guys that want to come here and work hard and get better and then move up. But we do have our handful of guys that probably could play in the SPHL or ECHL that just want to have a chance to win a championship and play in a great city in front of good fans and at a good arena. So
we do have, I'll call it the luxury of having a nice arena, you know, nice locker room and pretty good facilities compared to some of the other things you see. And I'm not just talking about at this level, even some other teams in even the East Coast League. Just because you're playing in the East Coast League doesn't mean you're playing in a Palace.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure.
I saw the eyebrow boom.
Yeah, wow. But, I mean, most of the places now are actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, you still, we were talking about it earlier. I mean, we don't got the Johnstowns
right,
and stuff
Wheeling
like that anymore. You know, well,
you
Wheeling's there, but they got a new building.
Oh, they have a new building in Wheeling?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
no, they've. It's not new, but it's got a. When I played there, it was new. It was new, brand new. It was a nice building. No,
was it new when you were there? Really? I in some reason in my head I thought that place was built in the 70s, but
no. It was. Well, it's not new now, but it was built in 95, 96, early 2000s or whatever. Heck, when was it? Well, it would have been my Birmingham years, because Kevin Kerr, the coach in Birmingham now, we played together, and he was on a tear. He gets called up to the eye, and he basically sticks somebody over the head, you know, El Kabong somebody over the head in the eye, and he got suspended.
Right.
So I got to go to the All-Star game. I had Bechard on my jersey, but I was number 20, not number 16.
Right.
So, type thing. So, and that was in Wheeling, West Virginia, and like I said, the building was new at that point. So it would have been 91, 92, 93 or something like that. So it was brand new at that point. It was a beautiful building. So that's where they're playing out of now.
That's interesting. And also I had Kevin Kerr was on my team in Elmira, and I remember him coming in and just he was a shoot from anywhere kind of guy, and just worst curve on any hockey stick I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was
Hey, goal scorer, tough as nails, crazy. I mean, you name it.
I
mean,
probably saw him score more goals from the corner on or behind the goal line than anyone else
Yep.
in my entire time in the game.
Well, look at Yanni Liriakos in our league. He shoots from everywhere. Like, I mean, he'd rather not take 2 strides, and this is maybe why he's not on our team anymore either. He'd rather shoot the puck from the corner than actually try to battle through somebody and take it to the net. I'm just going to shoot it from here and see what happens.
Yeah.
And you know what? I mean, not all the time, but
Sometimes they go in.
It sneaks in. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I give him credit. He does shoot the puck from all over the place. So,
Yeah.
Anyways, interesting to see.
But where are we here? We'll get to a break. All right, we'll do this in a minute. But before we get there, because we're just kind of in a general hockey kind of mode right now. But so Augusta, a place that I used to play in the coast, is trying to get a splosh passed to get hockey ice put back into James Brown Arena, which they took out once. I believe it was at the death knell of hockey. It was the Riverhawks. It was no longer the Lynx. But whatever level they go in at. Oh, go ahead, Boom.
Well, no, I mean, at that point, it was there. But, I mean, we had Augusta, whatever, in the East Coast, or in the SP for a year and a half, 2 years.
Which I think was the Riverhawks.
Was it the Riverhawks?
I think something like that.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I mean, again, never really, they didn't do a very good job with it as well. You know, and ultimately, you know, building, it's not a terrible building, but I mean, it needs a lot of work.
Yeah, and it does, and that's why if they get the splosh passed and they get ice put back in, hopefully,
well, I was reading something.
they would do some of that work.
Just general or hockey in general. I heard somebody was trying to do some stuff in back in PD too, Florence, South Carolina.
Oh yeah,
So I don't know.
those are all old East Coast League barns. Like from when I was in Augusta, it used to be great because we had 5 teams within a 2.5-hour drive.
Right.
That
No.
was phenomenal back then. Our travel was amazing, but that I mean, you know, it's a little different now.
Right.
They wouldn't make a bad addition to our footprint, I don't think.
No, not at all. Yeah, it would be actually really nice. It's, you know, what, 5-6 hours, something like that, to Florence. So it's on the way to everything, and yeah, it wouldn't be bad at all.
I would appreciate redistricting north and south.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not that I don't love Michigan. I don't love going to those barns, but just saying. So, all right, let's take our first break here. We're on the Behind the Bench Coaches Show. We've got Jerome Bechard. We've got Jay Croop. We'll be right back with more in just a moment. Welcome back on the Behind the Bench Coaches Show. We are here with head coach Jerome Boom Boom Bechard and this week's player guest, Jay Croop, talking a little bit about everything, really. We've been all over the map so far. It's fun, though, you know. So, Jay, you have a special guests in the studio.
Yeah.
Introduce us.
Yeah.
Making a radio debut, perhaps.
Yeah, radio debut is Brooks. He's my son. He's 2 months, and mom's holding him right now.
That's why he's quiet. When he's fussing, but now.
Yeah. So it's his radio debut. He's been tagging along last few weeks with the boys and getting used to the hockey lifestyle.
Got him on skates yet, or?
I wish. They don't make him small enough. Not yet.
Soon enough. That. How old were you when you started skating?
So from what I can gather, what my mom was saying, I was about 16 months when I was skating.
Really?
Yeah. But I had an older brother, and so
Did you lose him?
I was. I have an older brother. Sorry. So I was always trying to keep up with him.
Right.
And so I feel like I was doing things a lot younger than probably most, riding a bike and all that. So yeah, and at the time my dad he owned another team, so we were at all the games and we'd go skate after. So I really don't remember not skating.
Interesting. Boomer, how old were you when you started skating?
I don't know. I'm too old to remember. Probably 5 or 6. Probably 5 or 6. I mean, we lived small town, LaGeorge, Saskatchewan, about 30 minutes outside of Regina. Lejour didn't have a rink. Sedley was about 7 miles from the farm. So between skating on our dugout out on the farm and or going into town, I mean, I would say about 5, and then, you know, we were either in town or we were on the dugout skating. So it was pretty, and I mean, I have a twin brother, so it was me. I always had somebody to go skating with and play with, so that made it a lot more fun type thing. So anyways, either one of us was in net and the other guy was shooting all the time. One or two, we'd have, I don't know, we'd go back and forth, but it was pretty fun.
Skating at 5, first on ice fight at 5 1/4.
You know what? I can't. Trying to remember my really first fight. Well, junior. I mean, played midget. Kind of had. We had a bench clearing brawl in midget. Didn't get in a fight. But it was pretty scary. And then first fight was probably in Calgary at not the Saddle Dome, the old
The Corral.
The Corral.
With its 8-foot high boards.
The Calgary Wranglers and Ken Spenrath. Yeah. Yeah. Refs were in, yelling, screaming, "Hey, let us go. And they backed away and they let us go. And it was the first and only time I saw stars. He just about knocked me out.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
And yet you persisted.
Yeah, and yet I kept on. I didn't say it was very smart. I said, and not very tough, but I mean, I was stubborn and stupid. I just kept on going for it. So, anyways.
Jay, I got to ask you, do you remember your first scrap?
I don't. I think it was in an NA camp. I was probably 18 and maybe 17. Can't remember, somewhere in there, and got absolutely freaking pumped. Yeah. I don't really remember how it started. I was in front of the net, and kind of next thing I know, I was shaking a glove off, and I was reaching way above my head, and I just remember looking up, and his fists were just smashing me in the face, and I think it was like 3, and I was down, and that was it. I don't even think I got a punch in.
Well, you learn, I guess, right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the first one. And then, I remember my first pro fight in Carolina, Petro. I was playing with Petro. He was our captain. Opening night. First time hockey was back there, I think like 5 or 6 years. And he got stuck in the mouth. And it was 2 guys over there. And I went after, I thought it was the other guy. And I went after him. And I remember he was like, "It wasn't me." And I was like, "Oh, we're going." And I thought it was him. And then it was a good tilt. And then after the game, both guys came up. They're like, "Yeah, it was me. It wasn't him." I said, "Well, then I guess I owe you one for tomorrow." But Pat tried to get I think 6 zippers in his lip. There's a good picture. It's Petro going like this, and there's blood falling out of his hand, and then in the background is me punching the guy. And
the wrong guy.
It's the wrong guy, but it's a cool picture. I saved it. It was cool because obviously him and I go way back, and so yeah, cool picture.
I can't imagine, Boomer, like the style of game you played, how many times you probably had to answer the bell for something you actually didn't do, or was it always you?
Oh, it was pretty much me.
Yeah, no,
it was pretty much me.
You never had a mistaken identity?
No, I pretty much deserved everything I got.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I always want, because I would think, okay, you're probably the guy who's going to get blamed, like you go into a corner, but maybe it was the other guy that did it. So.
No, I mean, it was usually me. It was usually me. I mean, most of it was me. I mean, we'd go into places, and again, I'm not very tough. I'm just crazy and stupid to fight anybody and all that stuff. We'd go into anywhere. Like Memphis always had like 5 or 6 like heavyweights, and we usually had. I'm not a heavyweight, but we usually had 2 to 3 guys that could take care of themselves. We'd go to Memphis, and they're like, Hey, Bish, let's just have an easy game tonight. Hey, let's just, let's have a sleeper. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll see what I can do. And before you know it, it's game on. He's going crazy, on a Tuesday night in Memphis, nobody wants to do anything, and I'm like, sorry, boys, got to go.
That's it's the love-hate relationship, not only with the other team but also with your teammates, right? But.
No, it was good. I always had fun. So again, Memphis was always a battle. Huntsville, anyways, yeah. I don't know too many other people that were as hated as I it's really kind of funny because you know what? Most places I go, they knew who I am. Huntsville, wherever, Memphis, this and that.
Birmingham.
Obviously, well, Birmingham, they love me. But I mean, even the places that hated me love me. Just go. I'd go to, Huntsville. I remember a game in Huntsville, and those guys, you're yelling and screaming at you, Bechard, you're nothing but a bum and whatever, blah blah blah. And I know where that guy is. I get kicked out. I'm like, all right, well, go shower up and. I go introduce myself. Hey, sir, how are you?
They're buying him a beer.
I'm right here. What do you got anything to say now? And, oh man, we're just joking. We just kind of thing. It was pretty funny. So I don't know. I used to have fun. I just had fun.
You should have got commission from other teams for selling tickets for him when he come to town.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we did. Yeah. Well, I didn't get paid for it, but
right.
it was a pretty good draw.
Absolutely. That's the same thing the River Dragons were trying to do here. Is we're that team. I think we go into places. Don't tell me the people in Carolina don't buy more tickets when we come to town because I'm sure they do.
Right. Yeah. No. Definitely. Definitely. There's that. It's the rivalry that you're looking for to have and to sell and everybody's still in Columbus. We're the River Dragons, but I mean they still talk. The Macon Whoopie days and, the Huntsville. It wasn't the Havoc at that point. It was the Channel Cats back in my era type thing. So anyways, it's good.
That's what we're trying to do is build the rivalries, which is why I like the Zydeco coming into the league. Look, until they start winning a few games, it's going to be a minute because I firmly believe to have a rivalry, both sides have to have success. I don't think one side can pump the other all the time. But like I see that with Mississippi, they played a close game. It was pretty testy. I think that's going to be good for the league.
Yeah, and
100%.
And it's I was going to say in-state rival. Get to know your geography, but the proximity is so close.
Sure.
Obviously. But yeah, no, it'll be good. It'll be good for them.
Well, hey, I mean, if your fans carry a torch for another team, I mean, it's going to be your rival.
Yeah, and as far as league goes, at the end of the day, it's not good for the league to have a team just get waxed every time they go. Your biggest strength is your weakest link. You need everyone to be strong and be successful at some point. So
I'll be honest with you. Last season, I was really rooting for Delaware to win games. Every time I'd watch the scoreboard, I'm like, come on, guys, come on, you got to win tonight, come on. I was rooting for Delaware.
Yeah.
And
they always found a way to lose.
They
came around, but I mean, they always, I don't know. It's like the Oilers right now, Edmonton. They can't win a game. I mean, you got guys that are making millions of dollars. They're not bad hockey players, but at the same time, for whatever reason, coach, they don't know how to win.
So Oilers Sharks tonight's going to be interesting. Yeah, because the Sharks have given up 20 goals in 2 games.
Yeah, they need to.
They're a mess.
But
what would you do with a team that does that?
Awful.
If you're the coach,
Well, I mean,
what can you do?
Well, at that point, I mean, I've always started slow as a coach, Cottonmouth or whatever. I've had some 0-10 starts. And kind of stick with the program. It's a difference between, to me, if it's a lack of effort or it's just, creating your own luck sometimes and this and that. And I think you have to create your own luck at some points. And then, it's like today working on the power play. I'm like, we are pretty talented. We have a lot of guys that move the puck really well and see the ice, this and that. And I'm like, it's like how many times do we have to beat the same two people before we take a shot?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm like, guys, work it over here, bang, bang, bang. We work it to a spot where we actually have a 2-on-1 and a good shot. Oh no, let's pull it back down and redo it. Let's start all over again. I'm like, guys, it's nothing's good it's not going to happen unless we start shooting the puck at the right times and this and that. So I don't know. I mean, I've been there. 0-10 starts, and I'm like, you believe in your team. If you start not believing in your guys, that might be an issue.
Jay, as a player, when you go through those, I'll just call it a
Slump. Whatever.
Yeah, a slump, a bad spell, a streak, whatever. How do you get out of it? How do you fix that as a player?
I mean, hard work. I mean, hard work. I think good bounces come from working hard and
just simplify. I mean, if I just look at
back to the basics.
If I look at myself, so there's years that I think I've scored 25, 30 goals in 1 year or whatever, right? Well, you get on a roll and you score, 5, 6, 7, and you're on a streak a little bit or whatever. I'm not a goal scorer. I'm not a prolific goal scorer, but I'm getting success because how I'm playing and what I'm doing, right?
Mm-hmm. No, it's spot on.
And it's almost to a point where, again, be realistic. I know who I am. I know what I've done to have that success. So, I can't pretend to think I'm a dangler and I'm going to do all this stuff or whatever. And I'm like, no. I give the puck to the right. I give the puck to the right place. I give the puck to the right person. I go to the net, and I get rewarded. This and that. So, it's more simplifying to me than anything. And the NHL is probably a little different because it's a little quicker, and I say it's a little different, but really the difference is a bunch of zeros.
Right.
That's really all, because the game doesn't change. Like, I mean, hey, you're going to go through slumps. You're going to go through your this and that. Connor McDavid. You got your Dreisaitl's. I got J-Mac and I got Jammer. I mean, 1-2 guys. I mean, the only difference is the zeros on the end of the paychecks.
But that's why I can't imagine the flip side pressure on a guy like McDavid right now. Like, your team's not going well. You're 60th in league scoring. You're supposed to be number 1.
Yeah.
Well, you can only do what you can only control you.
Right.
So I can't control that defenseman over there that coughed the puck out.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't control. I can control where I'm at and what's going on, or if I'm late on a route, or I can control my positioning, but you can't control everyone else. So
yeah.
And then and it's how do you put everybody together.
All right, let's grab a break because we're behind on breaks, but that'll happen because we're having a good time talking some hockey here. So, all right, stick around. We got more of the Behind the Bench Coaches Show coming your way in just a moment. All right, welcome back on the Behind the Bench Coaches Show, and we are here with Jerome Bechard, and this week's player guest is Jay Croop. And guys, I want to talk a little bit about probably the news. Well, the news is out, especially if you watch our website, ourdragons.com, or you follow us on social media. But Hunter Bersani is back in a River Dragons uniform, and he's a guy who was a big part of a big line with Josh Petrantonio and Austin Doe a couple of years ago. Croopy, obviously, I know you've been around the guy, and he's back in. I was joking with Boomer earlier today while we were taping the TV show. I'm like, well, he's fine with me because he's a Bills fan, Buffalo guy, so that's cool. We're already on good terms, and he doesn't even know it yet. But I mean, what does he bring?
He brings a lot of jam and brings good energy to the rink. Great person to be around. He's top notch as far as a guy in the room and a teammate and a person on the ice. awesome, drives the net, just brings a lot. I mean, yeah, he really does. Plays a physical game, can score, can set guys up. He can do quite a bit of stuff. Really happy to have him back.
What is it about Columbus that guys come back to?
Oh, I think it's just the way we run things and the fan base, and we got it going on here. It's just, I don't know, yeah, guys like being here. We worked hard. Jerome and I worked hard to put good teams together and always be in the mix for a championship. And I think the way we get treated and the way we run things and all that kind of combined, I think guys like being here.
Boomer, what is it for you when you're talking to a guy, whether about returning or coming here for the first time? Like, what is your? I'm sure you have a Columbus sales pitch. So if you're going to give it to me, I'm a guy who's interested in coming here. Why would I come play here?
You know what? The pitch is a nice building. Columbus has always had really good ownership group, and to me, when I'm talking to young guys trying to make a decision, I'm like, it's not really what level you're at. It's really trying to find somebody that tries to treat you not like a piece of meat.
That's fair.
And, because at the end of the day, hockey's kind of used us our probably whole life. Well, I say that, guys play junior, get college degrees, whatever. So I say hockey's used us. We've kind of used it as well to get us where we want to be, whether it's get an education, turn pro, whatever, I guess. But it's really my findings in the minors when I played was actually finding a place that I could fit into, find a home, be a part of something, a family, a community. And you know what? Whether you end up staying in the community or not, you'll always have, if you do, you'll have something to fall back on, type thing. So it served me well. And I say that to say, there's been times where, I had, say, Barry Dreger, we played junior together or against each other. Our careers mimicked each other as far as playing the same amount of years. But he played in the I and probably made twice as much money as a hockey player than I ever did. Right? I was making 120 a year, and that at that point they were paying money, whatever type thing. But he was on, and he played 13 years, and he was on probably 11 teams in 13 years.
Sure.
So, do you have a home? No. I played 13 years, and I've played in 3 different spots, and I always kind of had a home. And all of a sudden, hockey's gone. I have a career in this town because of what I've done here, as opposed to a guy that's bounced around in 13 different places and doesn't have a home, and now you're searching, what am I going to do with the rest of my life, kind of thing. So, not that that's going to happen to everybody that comes to Columbus, but that's just kind of the community. You're an hour and a half away from Atlanta. You need a crazy town to go to. Hey, there's lots of stuff to do in Atlanta. You're 3 hours to the Gulf Coast. You're 4 hours to the East Coast. Like, in the summertime, you're far enough inlet where a hurricane comes through. Yeah, you're not going to lose your house. Probably get a little bit of wind and some rain. You're going to get a tornado, but you're not in Tornado Alley. Right on the cusp of it. So to me, Columbus is the best place ever.
You're on the brochure.
Yeah.
You're definitely on the brochure.
You're on the Chattahoochee River. You've got Alabama, you've got Georgia. What more do you want? You got two good states, and you're in the South. You golf all the time. It's nice out. Weather's pretty good. A little humid in the summertime, but
It does get a little humid.
But that's that, and then you got the fans in there.
Sure.
You come down south. Canadians are like Southern folks for the most part. Other than we don't hug as much. But down south, everybody, it's a good morning, it's a hello or whatever. You go to New York, you say good morning to somebody, they're like, "What's your problem? What are you talking to me for?" I mean, nobody, I don't know. It's just, it's a great town. Good town.
There you go. So we're going to record that, and we will put it out, and we'll send it around. Let me know if you need the MP3 of that, and we'll send that to guys. So I want to ask you about a couple of the other guys coming in here, 4-game PTOs. Taylor Joseph, the goaltender. I guess we could start with him. It's kind of funny. I was talking to, and folks will see this if you watch the broadcasts. His pads are essentially shin guards, and that weirded me out a little. So Brendan Colgan explained it to me. He said that one time they sent him a pair of pads that was too short, so he had to wear them up on his foot like that, and he got used to it. So now that's just where they are, and I'm like, well, that just looks weird to me. But if you happen to see that, fans, that's why.
I saw it.
He adapted.
I didn't hear that story, but you know what? He played in the league last year
With Binghamton, Binghamton.
Binghamton. I think his resume is good. Played last year in Binghamton. I think he played against us, I think, too. I mean, he played well. So, other than that, I mean, he's from Edmonton. He's a good Canadian boy, a West boy, so he works hard, fits in.
I see where your prejudice lies,
and we'll see. We'll see. I mean, again, we talked about it this afternoon. I mean, the biggest thing is trying to get everybody an opportunity. Nobody comes to training camp and some guys just aren't a practice player.
Yeah.
I.e.
Yeah.
Somebody to the left of me is not a practice player. People are different in games, so to really evaluate, you got to see him in a game.
Sure. And Stephen Klink is another guy who you haven't had a chance to see in a game.
Right. Throughout training camp and scrimmages and practice, he works hard. He's got good vision. He's a skilled guy. And really I look what we have, and I talking to Klinker yesterday. He's like, well, what are you looking for? What are you looking for? I'm like, well, I look for a 200-foot player. I know you're skilled. I want you to play your game, but at the same time, I also need you to be responsible in your own end and coming back. You show me you can do that, then you have a pretty good chance, And, not to put pressure on the guys, but, I mean, that's really it. I mean, all of our guys, all the forwards right now, I mean, I got 3 number 1 lines, in my opinion. I got guys that can put the puck in the net. I got some guys that hit and bang. And, most of the guys are hit and bang combination. They both will do that. So, anyways, time will tell.
All right. Well, we're almost at the end of the show here. And I mean, instead of previewing Baton Rouge for another time, Jay, I want to ask you a question. You are a new father. How have things changed in your life? And I'm not talking about the lack of sleep, because we all know that's there. But I mean, what's changed for you?
I would say pretty much my whole entire life. Obviously it's, for some people don't know, it's my first child. It's changed. I feel it's changed for the better. I think my friends and people around me, I've seen that, and I really didn't know what it was gonna feel like or anything, but definitely the best thing that's happened to me, and I didn't really think I could love something so much, and so really cool experience. Really grateful he's healthy, and it's been great. Honestly, really cool that he can be around while I'm still playing. I know he probably won't remember it, but for me, it's a pretty big deal. So, I'm really excited about this season and having him being a part of it.
How did you choose the name Brooks?
So, Brooks...
I'm looking at Mom out in the hallway here.
I think Zoe had come up with a list of maybe 5 or 6 names, and we kind of just kept... we just kept kind of saying them, and Brooks came up, and it was just kind of stuck, and we went with Brooks, and then his middle name's Harrison. That's my middle name, and I feel like it's just a really solid name, Brooks Harrison Croop. So, no really reason, I guess, particular reason on Brooks. Just kind of came to us.
I felt like that was a good hockey name when I heard it, though.
Oh,
like,
agreed.
that's a solid hockey name.
All the boys say that too.
Yeah. So that's pretty good. Well, I can't imagine, how your life will continue to change as you watch him grow up and do things for the first time and be a part of that. But it's like you say, it's great now that you're still playing.
Yeah.
And now this is kind of the overlapping of eras in your life.
Yeah, definitely. It's awesome. I can't wait for the home opener, for him to be there, and yeah. I
can tell you're already excited about. Well,
yeah.
I mean, just playing at home. You guys start with 6 on the road.
I do. I will say it does. It sucks for fans and everyone, but I actually do like our schedule. It's like this every year, just because the Civic Center's got events going, and they usually don't get our ice until November. But I really enjoy it because it gets us kind of I guess the crappy part of the schedule out of the way.
Sure.
And then you got a solid. Usually towards the grind of the season, we're at home and we're in our own beds and usually for a solid month, and I think this year we were at home for a month and we're gone for 2 weeks and we're at home another month. So, and it's really in the time of the season where it's really beginning to be a grind, and so I really always enjoyed our schedule here in Columbus, and I think it really actually helps us.
After January, I looked it up. So January into February, it is 13 of 15 at home. In that, the quote-unquote dog days.
Yeah,
so
it's massive.
Better to have the home cooking, I guess.
I love it.
Yeah, no, it's
plus it's like holidays. We're always at home in the holidays, like around the family, around the guys. Like, it's awesome. I really do. It does suck for the fans. They got to go a solid month usually without seeing us, but it's like, hey, we're home for the holidays and the grind of the season.
Yeah, no, I mean, really, I think fans don't like it, but running a hockey team on the business side of it, it's more conducive to delay and wait, get all of our football out of the way.
Your Friday, Saturday, yep.
Friday high school, Saturday college, this and that, and I mean, I don't really understand how some of the other owners don't understand that, or maybe the rink doesn't have the ice time or whatever, and they're shoehorned into it. But I mean, always delay as much as you possibly can.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've reached the end of the road, guys. Thanks for coming in this week. We appreciate you being here.
All right. We'll see you in a couple hours on the bus.
I know, right? Yeah, we're out tonight. So, all right. Well, my thanks to Jay Croop. My thanks to Jerome Bechard for being here. We'll come back and wrap things up in just a moment on the Behind the Bench Coaches Show. All right, back to wrap things up here on the Behind the Bench Coaches Show. My thanks once again to Jay Croop and Jerome Bechard for being here, and we're wrapping things up. And, 3 in a row coming up. As a matter of fact, as they referenced there at the end of the last segment, we are leaving tonight, heading out of town to Baton Rouge, 3 in a row against the Zydeco. That's right, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Game time is 8:30 Eastern Time. 8 o'clock on the pregame show right here on 106.9 Really Rocks, and, of course, on the River Dragons YouTube channel. And then, finally, the River Dragons will come home and open at home on Friday, November 17th. Single game tickets are now on sale. Ticketmaster.com or at the Columbus Civic Center box office. If you want full season tickets, those are still available as well. Come on down to the office and see us or give us a call at 706-507-4625. That's 507-4625. All right, everybody, we're going to talk to you, tomorrow night. Only we'll be in Baton Rouge taking on the Zydeco, 8 o'clock pregame, 8:30 puck drop. This is Tom Callahan saying thanks for listening to the Behind the Bench Coaches Show.